Welcome once again, Kingdom family. Joanna here with you to share another important message for you saints. Now, the title for today's message is Guard Your Treasures. Yes, guard your treasures. And this is taken from the account that was given in Isaiah chapter 39 regarding King Hezekiah. Now, just to give you a bit of backstory about King Hezekiah, he was appointed to die. Now, of course, everyone have an appointed time to die. But the Most High told him he was going to die. And he decided to cry out to the Lord and ask for his life to be extended. And guess what? His life was extended. And after he recovered from his sickness, the king of Babylon sent messengers to tell him, "We heard you were sick and we're glad you're doing better." So they came on friendly terms. But if you have ever read the Old Testament, you would understand that the Babylonians were the sworn enemy of the Israelites. They were always the enemy. The Babylonians were the enemy of the Israelites. And King Hezekiah knew this. But when they came and they said, "Hi, we heard you were sick. We came to bring gifts. We came to just see how you're doing," he invited them into his kingdom. He invited them into his domain. And he actually showed them all the treasures that he had. He welcomed them into his space, into his environment, even though he knew they were his enemies. But he still invited them in because they came on friendly terms. They came to wish him well. After all, he just recovered, right? And when we consider this particular passage of scripture, you always say, well, what is so wrong with that? Well, here's what turned out. After he invited them in, he showed them his armory, he showed them all the treasures he had, he showed them every single thing within his kingdom that were considered treasures or secret things. And guess what happened after? These same Babylonians turned around and came back sometime after, and they raided the kingdom, they destroyed the kingdom, they held them captives, they took all the same treasures that he showed them he had. And this is how it ended for King Hezekiah. Even though his life was extended, because he allowed his enemy to come in, it ended in a tragic way. It ended by him losing his kingdom to his same enemy. Now, what's the lesson we can learn in this? One of the key things we are told in the scripture is to guard our hearts. And I'm going to read from Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23, which says, "Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Another version says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." And we as kingdom citizens need to be mindful of this, because some of us are opening up our hearts and opening up our lives to the enemy. We are opening up ourselves to things that would allow the enemy to come in. And we understand that when the enemy comes, even though it may seem friendly and harmless at first, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So some of us are entertaining friends that we have no business being with. Some of us are going along and doing things with the knowledge that it is wrong, and we are opening up ourselves to these things. Some of us are too trusting, and we are casting our pearls before swines and just allowing anybody to come into our space and into our lives. And these are some of the things that we have to guard our hearts from, so that we don't allow the enemy to enter in and wreak havoc in our lives. Because all these things, just as it was in the time of King Hezekiah, it appeared harmless, it appeared to be friendly. They were just coming to wish him well, right? And most of the times, this is how it looks. The people that come your way become friendly, right? The bad company, we understand how they come. They don't just come and in a harmful way to make you go the opposite way. They come in the most humble of ways with bad intents. Hence the reason we have to be very guarded. We have to be very guarded at the things we look at, listen to, because out of our heart will flow the issues of life. And in addition to what we allow to come into our space, we have to also be guarded as to what we share, what we express, what we do, that will give the enemy way as well. So I really hope that this message serves you well today, and that we are reminded that we need to guard our hearts. Thank you for watching. Shalom.